and a part of me died inside of cringe. But back to the main topic. So, once my next birthday finally rolled around, and with a plane ticket in hand, I was able to go to California. This is my dad. Took us over to the Westminster Orange County Mall, went to the GameStop, and got me a copy of, drum roll please, Fire Emblem Conquest. Nope. Wait. No. Fire Emblem Conquest. Nope. Shadows. Echoes of Voltania. Fire Emblem Conquest. Nope. Fire Emblem Echoes of Voltania. I always forget the Shadows part. Why is there a Shadows part? Fire Emblem Conquest. Nope. Wait, no, wrong way. Fire Emblem Conquest. Fire Emblem Conquest. I always keep dropping the wrong one. I just want to drop Conquest. Fire Emblem Echoes of Voltania. I always forgot the shadow again. Okay. Fire Emblem Echoes of Voltania. Fire Emblem Echoes of Shadow. Wait, what's the name of this stupid game? Shadows of Voltania. Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Voltania. Get it right. Fire Emblem Conquest. Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Voltania. Finally. Wait, no. Okay, one last try. Fire Emblem Conquest. Shadow the Hedgehog over here. Hey guys, Shadow the Hedgehog over here. Fire Emblem Conquest. Fire Emblem Echoes. Shadows of Voltania. Yep, I bought the wrong game. Though, in my defense, I will say I had no idea what I was buying. She never told me the name of the game, besides the Fire Emblem part. Though, in my defense, I was never A, told the name of the game in full, B, I didn't know what I was even buying, and 3, I just knew it was Fire Emblem. Wait, no, what? Though, in my defense, I will say she never told me the name of the game besides Fire Emblem. And that was on 3DS. Though, in my defense, she never told me that it was on Fire Emblem. On Fire Emblem. Though, in my defense, she never told me that the name. Though, in my defense, she never told me the name of the game. Besides, it was just Fire Emblem. So, I blame half of this on her. But anyway. Okay, wait. But anyway, now that I finally have my own copy of a Fire Emblem game, I was ready to become a master. But now that I have my own copy of Fire Emblem for myself, I'm ready to become a master. Cue the montage. Then I proceeded to put 28 hours into it. The game ending. Then I put 28 hours into this, quit on Act 4, quit on Act 4 of 6, lost contact with the girl in question, and shelved Echoes for the next 7 years. Then I put 28 hours into this game, quit on Act 4 of 6, I lost contact with the girl in question, and put this on the shelf right next to my 2 copies of Kirby Triple Deluxe. Then proceeded to put only 28 hours into this, lost contact with the girl in question, quit on Act 4 out of 6, then proceeded to only put 28 hours into this game, then proceeded to only put 28 out of 35 hours into this game, quit on Act 4 of 6, lost contact with the girl in question, and put this right under the shelf under my 2 copies of Kirby Triple Deluxe and on top of my copy of Sunny of a Chance for DS. In that time, in that 7-year gap of then and today, in that 7-year gap of then versus today, I did eventually play Fire Emblem Conquest, but I would put 10 hours into it and dropped it halfway through, like all Fire Emblem games for me. But this time won't be the same. That's a promise I'll hold myself to. So today, I will commit. Today, I hereby vow by this video recording of myself that I will, honestly, truly, finally beat a Fire Emblem game. However, it wouldn't be the typical retrospective, going over some history. Oh god, this is gonna kill me. Oh no, I'm gonna have to say it's trivia. Okay, I got this. Keep throwing the game up and down, be entertaining. Yeah. Isaac, oh no. Okay. Fire Emblem Echoes, developed by Intelligent System, came out April 20th, 2017 in Japan. Okay. Fire Emblem Echoes was developed by Intelligent Systems. Fire Emblem Echoes was developed by Intelligent Systems back in Fire Emblem Echoes was developed by Intelligent Systems and released April 20th, 2017 in Japan and May 19th, 2017 in America. It is the 15th installment in the Fire Emblem series of tactical RPGs. It is the 15th installment of this series of Fire Emblem. It is the 15th installment of this tactical RPG franchise. It is the 15th installment of this Fire Emblem franchise. But most interesting, I found out, because I didn't know this before, is actually a remake of the very second ever made Fire Emblem game. And it is a remake of the very first second ever. It is a remake of the second ever Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Gaiden. It is a full-on remake of Fire Emblem Gaiden, the second installment of the franchise, which came out on Nintendo Famicom on March 14th, 1992, which came out on the Nintendo Famicom on March 14th, 1992, which, more fun fact, this game was never released in the Western. This is a full-on remake of the second ever Fire Emblem game, which never even got a Western release. So this is basically a full-on new game for us in America. How cool is that? Fire Emblem Gaiden came out on the Nintendo Famicom in 1992, March 14th, in Japan. It is a full-on remake of the second ever Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Gaiden, which released on March 14th, 1992. Which, even cooler, this game never came out in a... What's even cooler, though, is this game never got a Western release. So it's basically a full-on brand new game for us in America. How cool is that? Gaiden was a commercial success, selling over 324,000 units as of 2002, and was the fourth best-selling Fire Emblem game in the franchise. Which was the fourth best-selling Fire Emblem game in the franchise, as of 2028. As of 2002. I get you. Though it was considered to be a mixed bag, being compared to, of all things, Zelda 2 Adventure of Link, which is not a good look for anybody compared to that game. Ew. Yucky. I'll cut that out. The game introduced many new additions, but was later dropped in series. Okay, screw that part. Okay. Fire Emblem Echoes began development right as the Fire Emblem Echoes began development. Fire Emblem Echoes began its game development right in the start of 2015, directly right after the Fates. Fire Emblem Echoes began development back in 2015, right after the Fates series ended. Originally, the producer Hitoshi Yagami Originally, the producer Hitoshi Yamagami wanted to develop Fire Emblem Echoes for Switch. However, it was way too early in the Switch's lifespan. To begin development for it. Originally, the producer Hitoshi Yagami wanted to have this game be developed for Switch. However, since it was still way too early in the Switch's lifespan, the idea had to be shelved and put onto 3DS. Originally, the producer Hitoshi Yagami wanted to develop Fire Emblem Echoes for Switch. However, it was still far too early to be developing a Fire Emblem game for the console, as it was only 2015 at the time. The original producer, Hitoshi Yagami, wanted to develop this originally for Switch. However, this is interesting. I want to say it. Originally, the producer, Hitoshi Yagami, wanted to direct this game. Okay, drink. Yeah, okay. Originally, the producer, Hitoshi Yagami, Originally, the producer, Hitoshi Yagami, wanted to this. Originally, the producer, Hitoshi Yagami, wanted to. Wait, why did I pause? Okay. Originally, the producer, Hitoshi Yagami. Originally, the producer, Hitoshi Yagami, wanted to. Okay, I'm done. I want to stop. Nope, don't stop. Don't give up. Ugh. Originally, the producer, Hitoshi Yagami, wanted to develop this game for Switch. However, sadly wasn't able to, as it was still far too early in the Switch's lifespan. Calm down and get your lines right, just like that. Good job, me. The people of the workers of Intelligent Systems Development Company, the people of the Intelligent System Design, the dev team of Intelligent Systems wanted to focus on Gaiden as a remake because they feel it's been lost in the shadows far too much lately and forgotten. It wanted to bring some light onto it. And also, they felt that they could include, and also because it was a remake, so and because of the limitless potential of a remake, they could even include some features they wanted to include in Fates, but couldn't because of lack of development time. And Yagami felt they could be able to get an entire remake done within the span before the Switch. And Yagami felt they could get an entire remake done before the Switch's release date of March 3rd, 2017. Let's just kind of look at this real quick. Bruh. However, there was also preparation stage. However, there was also chatter of. However, there was also chatter of the. However, there was also chatter of the. However, there was also chatter of the. However, there was also chatter. However, there was also chatter of the team developing a third franchise for the 3DS. However, there was also chatter of the development team making a third version of the Fire Emblem games for 3DS. Also, interestingly, there was even chatter of the development team making a third series of video games for 3DS for Fire Emblem. However, there was also chatter of the development team making a third brand. God, come on, just talk. Speak normally. However, there was also chatter of the development team making a third brand of Switch. However, there was also chatter of the development team making a third series of Fire Emblem games for 3DS, hoping to release it on September 2016. But unfortunately, development time had already been given to Three Houses, so they had to scrap that idea. They called it Echoes as an attempt to start a whole new, brand new they called it Echoes as a brand new. They started the brand Echoes as a way to begin a brew. They called the game Fire Emblem Echoes as a way to start a brand new series of remakes for the older Fire Emblem games. To match the more Awakening style. Which I think would have been rather neat. However, sadly, however, there being no other Fire Emblem branded games. There being no other Echoes branded Fire Emblem games means this idea was most likely shelved. How sad. But back to this game, though. But more on topic. Everyone featured from Gaiden was given a brand new series of redesigns. Though, now in Echoes, everyone was given a brand new series of redesigns. Now in Echoes, every character was given a brand new series of modern redesigns. Now in Echoes, everyone was given a series of modern redesigns. By the artist Hidari. And a large amount of fully animated, beautiful cutscenes developed by Studio Kara. If you don't know them, they've worked on if you haven't heard of them, probably haven't. They're a pretty small indie team. If you haven't heard of Studio Kara, that's fine. They're a pretty small indie team. They made stuff like, the classic of The Dentist Dragon, but also something called Evangelion, but either way. Some brand new additions was the character of Thea and Berkut. Both characters which I'll be talking a lot about later. They're very cool. It also included the series' long-established support system. Introduced combat arts. Basically, when you have a character hold a weapon when you have a character hold a specific type of weapon for a long. However, it also introduced the production of combat arts, which is when you have a unit have an item equipped for a long period of time. They'll get good and be able to use special abilities with it. Though they did remove, for some reason, the weapon triangle, which is kind of weird. But they did keep the... Which is kind of weird. But thank goodness they kept that the Pegasus Knights are weak to arrows. And my dogs are barking. But they also did not include the marriage mechanic from Awakening, which is honestly, which for reasons later we will understand, I really did not like. They also, as well, they did not include the marriage mechanic from Awakening, which is very, very annoying to me. And I really don't like that they did not include it. As well, they did not include the marriage mechanic for some reason. However, another thing they did not include is the marriage mechanic from Awakening, which infuriates me a lot. Which very much infuriates me, and I'm very unhappy. My day is ruined. When released in Japan, oh, we have our numbers. Okay. That's 100,003. Okay. Wait, when did? When released in Japan, Fire Emblem Echoes garnered around 135,000. When released in Japan, on the first week of release, when released in Japan, Fire Emblem, when released in Japan, Echoes sold 135. When sold in Japan, Echoes sold 1,350. When released in Japan, Echoes sold 1,100. When released in Japan, Echoes sold 135,195 units in only the first week of being released, topping out tons of the sales charts, and selling 80% of their initial, and selling 80% of the initial in stock, and selling through 80% of the initial shipment. And as of December 31st, 2022, Fire Emblem Echoes has sold over 1 million copies worldwide. Let's go! 1 million copies worldwide. Has sold 1 million copies worldwide. Yeah. And finally, it was nominated for IGN's. And finally, it was nominated for Best 3DS Game. And finally, it was nominated for Best 3D2 Game in IGN's Best of 2017 awards. And finally, it was nominated for Best 3D2 Game in IGN's 27. And finally, it was nominated for Best 3D2. And finally, it was nominated in IGN's 3D. And finally, it was nominated in the. And finally, it was nominated for Best 3D2 Game in IGN's Game. Okay. Finally, it was nominated in the Best of the Three. And finally, it was nominated for Best 3D2 Game in IGN's Best of 2017 awards. Best of 2017 awards. And also nominated for Handheld Game of the Year in the 21st annual DICE. Now, enough history. Let's play this thing. Here's how this video will work. As of recording, it is December 29th, 2024, and here is how this video will work. Currently, it is December 29th, 2024. I am recording, scripting, and playing the game as I go. I am currently recording, scripting, and playing the game as I go. Even include and go. Here's how this video will work. As of this recording, it is December 29th, 2024. Wait a second. Okay, so it's day 5, so 1, 2, 3. As of this recording, it is. Here is how this video will work. Here's how this video will work. As of this recording, as of this recording, it is December 27th, 2024. I am recording, scripting, and playing this video. I am scripting, recording, and playing the game as I go. Even include a small day counter up here. For fun. Even include a small day counter up here for fun. As for all my other Fire Emblem pursuits, as for my other Fire Emblem pursuits, I have put. As for all my other Fire Emblem games, I have played Conquest for 10 hours, Three Houses for 16 hours, and Fire Emblem Engage for 55 hours. All 3 games which I have stopped playing and dropped. Now, all three games which I have stopped playing and dropped. But hopefully, with this video, all 3 games which I have. As for my other pursuits in the Fire Emblem franchise, I have played Conquest for 10 hours. As for my other pursuits in the Fire Emblem franchise, I have played Conquest for 10 hours. I have played Three Houses for 16 hours, and Engage for 55 hours. I like that one. But sadly, all 3 have been dropped. And I hope that if I make it into a video for this time, for Echoes. Wait, okay. Okay, Jacob, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna say that, pause. Okay. As for my other pursuits in the Fire Emblem franchise, I have played Conquest for 10 hours. I have played Three Houses for 16 hours. And I have played Fire Emblem Engage. And I have played Engage for 55 hours. I really like that one. But sadly, all 3 of them have been dropped. However, hopefully, if I make this into a video, I'll have more incentive to finish and finally pursue my dream of beating a Fire Emblem game ever for the first time. Now, wish me luck. Now, wish me luck as I drown in the cacophony of echoes and swim in the lake of shadows of Voltaire. Boom! That was cool. Let's go. Hype, 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 hype. All right. I opened my 3DS, I inserted the cartridge in my console, and started it up. Immediately, I hear a voice. Immediately, I hear voice acting, and man, is it nostalgic to hear these crappy speakers sing. Though, immediately, something I would like to praise. The game's dialogue, and how almost 100, and how the game's dialogue. But, something I would like to praise. The game's dialogue. Almost 90%. Though, something I would very much like to praise about this game, right from the back, from what I've played so far, is the game's voice acting. I'm a Pokemon fan. I'm a Mario fan. I'm a Nintendo fan. We don't get voice acting. Ever. We don't get voice acting. Ever. So, when I boot up this game, and almost every single dialogue box is audible, I'm like, what? 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 What is this? Words? It's 27. It's a modern video game doing modern things that modern video games do. This isn't Nintendo. We're still in the Stone Age, banging rocks and Pokemon. What's going on? But yeah, just something I thought was very cool, and as a Pokemon fan, I appreciate it a lot. Serious mode. Serious mode needs serious mode, Dr. Pepper. Yeah. Now, the first thing we see are his two children. Now, the first thing we see... Oh, wait. I want to make sure I thank the guy who's letting me use his shit. Where's my goo? Where's my goo? I need my giga. My giga. Giga Akatami. Right, finish your damn manga. For real. Give me 100 more chapters. I want more JJK. What was his name? Fire Emblem long play, please. Fire Emblem long play. There you are, my brother. Brother.
I think you mean...
Though, before we continue any further, I would like to give a massive thank you to the YouTuber Hako. He has developed a long play version of this entire game, and through researching and looking back at cutscenes, it has made making this video. It has been making this video so much easier. So much easier. Just to look back at cutscenes and everything. So, thank you very much, Hako. I appreciate you a ton, and thank you for letting me use your long play as background footage. Thank you. Your channel will be linked in the description. Now, the very first thing we ever see is two children. One is two children. Now, first thing we ever see is two children. together laying by the fireplace reading a book. About two divine people named Milla and Duma. The little girl asked her friend, why do two people have to fight? Why do two people, even though they disagree, have to fight? The little girl asks her friend that, why is it that two people that disagree have to fight? Why can't they just make up? The little boy smiles and simply promises that they will never end up that way. And they exchange pinkies and make a promise that'll laugh, and make a promise in hopes that the little boy smiles and offers his pinky to form a promise that he hopes will last a lifetime. That he hopes will last a lifetime. The little boy, the very first thing we see is two children sitting by a lot. The first thing we see is two children laying down by a lit fireplace, reading a story to each other. The little girl asked the little boy, why is it when two people disagree, why do they have to fight? The little girl asks her friend, why is it when two people disagree, they have to fight? The boy responds and offers him. The little boy responds and offers his friend. The little boy responds and offers his friend his pinky to make a solemn vow that he hopes will last a lifetime. That they will never end up like Lily. That they will never end up like Duma. That they will never end up like Milla and Duma. She accepts, and the bond is forged. This scene foreshadows how these two are fated to come to blows. I then was introduced to a group of small children. I then was introduced to a group of children who will aid in almond silica making history one day. I then was introduced to a group of children who will aid in making history one day. I then met a group of 1, 2, 3, 4. I then was introduced to a group of 4 children, all in which will help make history one day. All 4 of which will be greatly involved in helping all 4 in which. I then was introduced to 4 children, all in which will be great players in making history. I then was introduced to 4 characters. I then was introduced to 4 more children, all 4 in which will be a great aid in one day making history. My hand itchy. We got Tobin. We got first on the checklist is Tobin. First on the list is Tobin. He is one of the more Tobin, a boy more realistic thinker, and a boy more realistic thinker than the rest of our idealistic bunch. Basically, the wise words of Silver the Hedgehog. He was on the search of getting money to help his parents support his large family. Okay. First on the meeting list is Tobin. First on the meeting list is Tobin. He is, by all excuse, a boy more realistic than our idealistic bunch. First on the meeting list is Tobin. He is a more realistic. He is a more realistic thinker than the rest of our idealistic bunch. First on the meeting list is Tobin. He is a more realistic thinker, and first on the meeting list is Tobin. He is a more realistic thinker than our more idealistic thinkers in the back. He is a more realistic thinker, and the group. He is really the only realistic thinker in our group of idealistic. Okay. He is a boy who is more idealistic. He is a more realistic thinker. He is a real idealistic thinker in our group of a boy who's more of a realist in our group of idealistic thinkers. A boy who is more of a realist in our group of idealistic bunch. He is a boy who is more realistic. He is a more realistic thinker in our group of idealistic bunch. He is a more realistic thinker okay, stop, pause, think, breathe, stop, pause, breathe, stop, think. He is a more realistic thinker in our group. He is a more realistic thinker in our bunch of idealists. I hate the word idealistic. Okay, idealistic. Okay, there we go. He is a more realistic bunch in our group of. He is a more realist thinker. He is a more realist thinker in our group of idealistic thinkers in the back. In the wise words of Silver the Hedgehog, he truly is an optimist, but he's also a realist. In the wise words of Silver the Hedgehog, he is an optimist, but he is also a realist. He later goes on to join the Deliverance to bring money back to his family to help support his parents with. He later goes on to join the Deliverance Army. He later goes on to join the Deliverance Army to get money. He later goes on to join all the others in the Deliverance Army and to help support his family and send money back home. Finally, that took way too long. Okay. Cliff. Wait, no. Next is Cliff. He is a more stoic. Next on the list is Cliff. He is a more rather stoic young man. He is a rather stoic young man. Rumors say his dad was a hotshot he is a more rather stoic young man. Rumors say his dad was a rich hotshot merchant who traveled all along the world. He struggles a bit with getting along with the other kids in Ram Village. He struggles at getting along with the other kids in Ram Village. Okay. Think. He struggles a bit with getting along with the other kids in Ram Village. He struggles a bit with he struggles a bit with fitting in with the other kids in Ram Village, as he'd rather just be reading a good old book than have to deal with like Tobin over here. He struggles with getting along with other kids in Ram Village, as they're all so he struggles with fitting in and getting along with the other kids in Ram Village, as they're all so energetic and wild, while he just wants to sit by a tree and read a book. Tobin, in particular, always getting on his nerves. Once Lucas comes and recruits the Ram villagers, once Lucas arrives and recruits and the rest of the Ram villagers, he joins in pursuit of seeing the world. Next is our primary male protagonist. He is more of the usual. He is the more usual. He is a very much a token male MC. He is a very much token male shonen MC personality-wise. He is a very much by the books protagonist. I think it's kind of lame, but I'm also okay. He is a very much generic token protagonist. However, I think he's really cool and I like him a lot. I love shonen protagonists. Okay. is a very much generic token male MC protagonist of an RPG. However, I love those tropes, and I think is awesome. So no real complaints. Is a pretty generic. Is a pretty generic, and is the. Is a rather generic. Is a rather generic player character. Is a rather generic character, and is rather generic in terms of protagonists. However, I think he's very cool, and I like him a lot, and I like him a lot. Is a rather generic. Okay, stop. Is a rather generic protagonist. Is a rather generic cookie cutter kind of protagonist. However, I really like him a lot. I love the. Is a rather generic cookie cutter protagonist by the books of it, but I think he's really cool and really charming and very charismatic and cool, and I like him a lot. He is a very cookie cutter, generic protagonist from the looks of it, but I think he's pretty interesting and really cool, and I like him a lot. He is a noble young man of a heart of gold. He is a very noble young man of a heart of gold. He chooses to join the Deliverance Army as a way to help those in need, to do what his grandfather did before him, and become a beacon of light. In this tomb of despair. And simply, hopefully reunite with an old friend. And simply, to hopefully one day, to reunite with an old friend. I'll do it one more time. The next on the agenda is Alm, our primary male MC. He is a rather cookie cutter generic protagonist, but I really like him a lot, and I think he's really cool. As he chose to join the Deliverance Army as a way to do what his grandfather did before him, to help those in need, and become a beacon of light in this shot. He is a rather generic. Okay, be quiet. Be quiet for a bit. Next up on the agenda is Alm. He is a rather generic cookie cutter protagonist, but I think he is very cool as he joins the Deliverance Army as a way. Man, I keep looking at myself in the camera. Not the camera itself. Oh no. Okay. Next on the agenda to meet is Alm. He is a rather generic cookie cutter protagonist, but I find him very likable and fun. He joins the Deliverance Army as a way to do what his grandfather did before him, to be a beacon of light in the shadows of despair that these tombs fill. What does that even mean? Okay, Jacob. Read the thing first. Okay. Become a beacon of light in this dark tomb. Okay. Stop. Hammer time. Okay, stop. How long does this video even have so far? Next on the list is Alm. He is a more cookie cutter generic protagonist, but I find him very cool. He joins the Deliverance Army as a way to do what his grandfather did before him, to help those in need and become a beacon of light in this tomb of darkness that the world has fallen to. And, hopefully, to one day, maybe even reunite with an old friend. Next up on the list is Gray. As for the other Ram villagers, out of everyone, Gray's my favorite. Okay. Next on the list is Gray. He, unlike the rest of his Ram villager friends, did not join the Deliverance Army as a way to as for the other Ram villagers. As for all the okay. Next on the agenda is Gray. As for all of the Ram villagers, Gray is definitely my favorite. I love his design. I think he's very cool, and he's also the strongest party member, so he gets immediate cool points out the gate. So, next on the meeting agenda is Gray. I find him very, very cool. I like him a lot. He's very cool looking. I love his redesign. What is this old design? Ew. Get out of here. Leave. Cats, I thought. He is not like Tobin, who just joined this. He is not like Tobin, who joined the Regillion. He is not like Tobin, who joined the Deliverance. Wait, he is not like Tobin, who just joined the Deliverance Army. Wait, he is not like Tobin, who only joined the Deliverance Army as a way to get gold. He is not like Alm, who joined out of idealistic pursuits. He is not like Fea, who joined out of pursuit of another. No. He is not like Cliff, who just wanted to see the world. He has had this drive, this... Gray just had this drive to do something with his life. And we saw Lucas, he knew his chance was there to make an impact on the world. And he is here for the sheer, and he is here fighting for the sheer thrill. And he is here fighting for the sheer thrill of combat. He is bored of his simplistic life in Ram Village and wants to just do something with it. Here, listen to this audio clip. Here, listen to this audio clip later down in the game. I really like his redesign. It's full of confidence and swagger. Next on the list is Fea. She is definitely an interesting one. She is one of the Echo's original characters. She's an interesting one. She was one of the Echo's original characters, original additions to the main cast. She is intentionally a bit more bland, but if you ask me, I find her... Okay. Next on the meeting list is Fea. Now, she's an interesting one, as she is an Echo's original character, introduced just to give the brand new people coming into Echoes that played Gaiden in the past, 1992. Okay. Now, she is an interesting one, as she was an Echo's original character, as a way to give people coming into Echoes that played Gaiden back in 1992 immediately something new, as she is the first character we even see in the game. Next on the list is Fea, as she is a rather very interesting character. She is a rather interesting character due to her being an Echo's original, as a way for people who played Gaiden back in the day. I want to stop. Okay. Now, next on the list is Fea, as she is a Echo's original character, introduced to people who play Gaiden. I keep looking at the screen. Oh my gosh. Okay. Jacob, okay, here's what you gotta do. Keep messing up, get rid of the problem. There. Nothing to distract you. Next on the list is Fea, as she is an Echo's original character, as a way to give people who originally played Next on the meeting list is Faya, a Echo's original. Next on the meeting list is Faya, an Echo's original character who. An Echo's original character. Next on the meeting list is Faya, an Echo's original character. And next on the meeting list is a Fire Emblem original character. Fire Emblem original character. They're all Fire Emblem. What is wrong with me? Okay. Come on. Come on. Stop. Next on the meeting list is Faya. She is a definitely very much interesting character. Definitely very much interesting. That's a stupid way to say anything. Now, she is definitely an interesting character, as she is an Echo's original. Okay, Jacob. Don't gotta say everything at once. Slow down. Next on the meeting list is Faya. She is a Echo's original, introduced to give purely... Okay, slow down. Next on the meeting list is Faya. She was introduced... Next on the meeting list is Faya, as she is a Echo's original. She was made to give people who come... She was created as a way to give people who play Gaiden immediate, brand new... Okay. This script isn't working. Clearly. Okay. My Discord crashed. I need my Discord. I need my disc. All right. I'm back. Attack. I'm back. I'm sack. Pac-Man is back. No. Next on the list is Faya. Next on the list is Faya. She is a rather... Next on the meeting is Faya. Next on the meeting list is Faya. Next on the meeting list is Faya. She is a rather... Just type this talk. Next on the meeting list is Faya. 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 As I stated earlier, she is a brand new addition to the... As stated earlier, she is an Echo's original addition to the cast, a way to give returning players some guidance. Okay. As stated before, she is a... As I stated earlier, she is a brand new addition to the cast. As I stated earlier, she is a Echo's original character. Way to give people who came back from Gaiden a immediate showcase of something brand new. As she is, in fact, the very first character we ever meet in-game. She is a rather bland character, for the most part, though. Her only She is a rather bland character, for the most part, but I think she's still pretty likable. As her only real purpose in the story is to be Alm's support, she succeeds in flying colors. As her entire purpose of the story is to be Alm's cheerleader, so I think she passes that with flying colors. And, if you ask me, I find her pure devotion to Alm very entertaining. When she says lines like this. Yeah. I honestly find her a really fun depiction of the yandere character archetype. And honestly, I find her a very fun, And honestly, I find her a very fun depiction of the yandere character archetype. And you ask me, I find her a very... Okay. She is a rather bland character, for the most part. Her only purpose of the story is to be Alm's cheerleader, but I feel she succeeds that. She is a rather bland character, but I feel her entire purpose of the story is to be Alm's cheerleader, and she succeeds that with flying colors. And I find her And honestly, ugh, shut up, you hate you, dog. Anyway, she is a rather bland character. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna kill that dog one day, I swear to God. She is a rather bland character. She is a rather bland character. Only real purpose is to be cheerleader, but I feel she succeeds at that. But I feel she succeeds with flying colors in that department, and I find her devotion to very entertaining. And honestly, she is a very fun depiction of the yandere character archetype. And honestly, I find her a very entertaining take on the yandere character type. And honestly, I find her a very fun depiction of the yandere character type. And honestly, I find her a very fun take on the yandere. And honestly, I find her as a very fun take on the yandere character type. When she spits lines like these. When she spits lines like these, that big old smile on her face. Run on. When all those 7 years ago, when I first saw this cutscene, I immediately knew to keep an eye on her. Find some more funny dialogue like this. When I unintentionally found this cutscene all those years ago, I thought it was very funny and knew I should keep an eye on her later on in life. When I first discovered and Feya's when I first discovered and Feya's when I first discovered Feya and C rank support, I knew for a fact I need to keep an eye on this girl for more funny dialogue like this one. As an example, later down the story, we meet a new character, Silk, where her and Silk's C rank support is this. This girl will need a second cleric to help cure that burn. This girl will need a second cleric to help cure that burn. I do think she is just a bit too one-note character-wise as cheerleader. A bit like 10-10 for Neji. But when you account that she is a late addition to the cast, she is a brand new character in a sea of already established characters, it only makes sense that she'd be a bit one note. But also, man, is her dialogue when you refuse to recruit her but also, man, when you choose to say no to her asking to join the Deliverance Army, just so cruel. Alright, that's it for today.